It's Europe's most coveted summit. Not only is it a beautiful mountain, it's significantly higher than any other peak in the Alps, and the terrain is diverse. Glaciers, ridges, and faces make it technically challenging for climbers. Altogether, it's a seductive combination. Well, that's the target behind me, Mont Blanc at just over 4,800 meters above sea level. And I'm off now to start practicing using crampons on ice. The aim was to become comfortable with the rented gear, rigid ice boots, crampons, and ice axe, as well as getting used to being constantly roped to somebody else.
Today it's really important, it's more than important, it's essential, because you want to get your equipment ready. You need to spend time at altitude so that you adapt better when you climb up. You're not just out of breath and not feeling sick all the time.
What followed was a second day of acclimatizing and training across ice fields and skirting crevasses as we marked out a plan up the mountain. So this is the route that we've taken so far. Starting on the Italian side of the Alps, we hopped on 2 teleferiques up to the Refugio Torino, overnighted here, and now this morning we're going to head up to Aiguille de Midi. There's a refuge here called Cosmique, and we'll be heading up to Mont Blanc in the dark at about 1 a.m. There were not too many climbers around, as it was towards the end of the high season. But over 20,000 people head up Mont Blanc each year, and that number is on the rise.
I think there's been a real growth in people wanting to do really big peaks. I think adventure sports and extreme sports have increased, and mountaineering of course fits into that category. It's just much more accessible for people. Of course the equipment's better, and of course these days, the access is pretty good as well.
There are some who want to use permits to cap the number of climbers on Mont Blanc to limit impact on the environment, reduce congestion and prevent accidents. In high season there are dozens of mountain rescues, but most of the mountaineers I came across rejected that idea.
I think it's important that it remains democratic, and that people can go up as long as obviously people respect the mountains, not only the environment in itself, but respect what the mountains has to say.
I suppose there's two sides to it. I mean, it's obviously elitist to sort of say people can't go, but I think that there are problems associated with that, because you can have a lot of people on a high mountain who are very, very inexperienced.
Mont Blanc has claimed more lives than any other mountain in the world, over 1,000 since it was first summited in 1786. Climbing with a professional guide makes for a safer experience, as well as increasing the chances of reaching the top. With a guide, about half of climbers summit. Without a guide, that drops to a third. So with a 50-50 chance, Rick and I began our preparations. After a short sleep, we headed to the boot room to get our gear and rope up. We struck out into the cold, clear night, helped by a full moon and head torches. Even after the sun came up, it was a long day ahead, but I did feel positive, and the determination paid off. It's 9:30 in the morning, and we've just reached the summit of Mont Blanc, about 6.5 hours after we set out this morning. Well, on my right is Italy, and on my left is France, and this mountain is shared by both countries. That was one of the toughest things I've done in a long time, and we're now going to have some snacks, have some water, and then head back down to Chamonix. The world seemed to sweep away on either side. There is something extraordinary about standing on the top of this mountain, the shared camaraderie with other climbers, the views, of course, but also pushing your body and mind to their limit. It was here that I came to understand why extreme adventure has become so popular, and the allure of the world's highest mountains.